Hi, my name is Brian Poirier Jr., and this is my YouTube project assignment 2. There are 3 research papers that I studied, and many of them highlight the protein ingestion in older and younger adults, and how that protein quality affects their preservation of fat-free mass, their skeletal muscle anabolism, and their effect on being able to achieve a healthier lifestyle. In this research video, my focus is to highlight the high protein diet with other lifestyle factors in the effort to reduce incidences of obesity in the adult to older adult population, while also increasing myofibril longevity. My video is going to cover an overview of 3 research papers in detail. And the first paper is highlighting the quality of protein in relation to anabolism in older and younger adults. This paper acknowledges some facts about the quality of protein in relation to muscle protein synthesis. So the first title is called Protein Source and Quality for Skeletal Muscle Anabolism in Young and Older Adults. This paper highlights the importance of protein quality in older adults versus younger adults. In older adults, inhibition of anabolism is greater. Adults that are older typically have to eat more protein per gram body weight to receive similar muscle anabolism effects. The researchers also hypothesized that higher quality protein consumption in older individuals is linked to greater muscle protein synthesis, lean body mass, and more prolonged resistance exercise training when high quality protein sources were given to older individuals. For the methods of this research paper, the researchers created a categorization of protein sources as either high quality or low quality. Protein quality was then categorized by these categories: total essential amino acids, non-essential amino acids, leucine content, non-essential amino acid content, limiting and dispensable amino acid content, and digestible indispensable amino acid scores, otherwise known as DIAAS. All groups of participants in this study participated in regular resistance exercise training, RET, and were given regular dietary regimens. Findings of this paper were significant. When whey protein isolate was compared with micellar casein, 1.6 grams of leucine, in older individuals, or anybody that was around 72 years old, myofibril muscle protein synthesis, MyoMPS, was significantly elevated. Most of the other analyses and studies were showing consistent findings, with greater muscle protein synthesis in older individuals when comparing proteins with varying levels of leucine content. One discrepancy to note is that there were some instances where MPS was significantly elevated between proteins among young participants. However, that discrepancy was not consistent across the studies. Another article, second article, called Protein Source and Quality for Skeletal Muscle Anabolism in Young and Older Adults, is a paper by Paul T. Morgan and his colleagues, and it highlights the binary nature of muscle protein synthesis and muscle protein breakdown. This paper goes into discussion about the amino acid benefits from ingesting animal-based proteins, and these animal-based proteins often have higher levels of leucine, which is an essential amino acid. The results of this article are quite astonishing. The analyses revealed that high-quality protein for postprandial muscle protein synthesis at rest showed superior strength gains with higher protein quality under resistance and exercise training. It's also worth noting that changes to lean body mass were observed in this study. Generally, it has been widely accepted in the medical field and other health organizations around the world that skeletal muscle anabolism is very important for general health and performance, and that maintaining it across the lifespan is particularly important for achieving metabolic homeostasis and for locomotory capabilities of the human body relating to physics. It is also important that the protein that one ingests is particularly of a high amino acid content and animal-based, since animal-based proteins often have more essential amino acids that the body cannot produce. Plant-based proteins often do not have competing levels of leucine. in many forms of plant-based proteins. Although this article highlights elevated levels of muscle protein synthesis correlating to increased muscle protein synthesis, there's still work to be done. This paper highlights that there is more research that needs to be done regarding muscle protein synthesis, and that varying levels of protein quality ingested by participants in the general population is still under consideration. Upon gathering data by participants during an age from early adult to older adult, significant statistical analyses showed that protein quality significantly favored elevated levels of muscle protein synthesis in older individuals compared to younger individuals, particularly regarding the amount of leucine that was ingested over a period of time. Across these 25 studies, particular proteins that were involved with higher muscle protein synthesis were whey protein isolate casein also. For most studies, these proteins signified elevated levels of muscle protein synthesis, especially in older adult participants. This shows a promising characteristic in the study that protein quality ingested matters more as one ages. The study was also published in 2021, so it is favorable to be analyzed due to its recent publication. All right, so the third paper is highlighting the effect of a high protein diet. The actual title of this paper is High Protein Diet and/or Resistance Exercise on a Preservation of Fat-Free Mass During Weight Loss in Overweight and Obese Younger Adults. The research involved in this paper is inherently concerned with the risk factors of accelerated muscle mass due to weight loss, especially in older obese adults. Obesity is definitely a concern around the world, as studies have shown that the prevalence of obesity among older adults has risen 20 to 30%. This is a dramatic increase compared to past decades. The researchers also investigated the effect of preserving the fat-free mass regarding the quality of protein that resistance exercise training participants received. They found that the intervention group was able to preserve much more muscle mass compared to the control. This program was expedited with regular resistance training among participants and regular dietary patterns among a 13-week period. The study mainly collected data among residents from the Amsterdam area in England through advertisements and flyers. Main participants were involved in a 10-week trial and were also excluded if they did not try a diet program before, or if they had tried a diet program before. Exercise in this study involved 3 one-hour sessions per week of resistance training, and the results were significant. Researchers observed no significant effect of high-protein diet, although at a lower level than targeted, and resistance training on fat-free mass preservation on their own. However, in a group with a combined intervention of high-protein diet and resistance exercise program, fat-free mass significantly increased. The researchers also recorded effects of the program on hand grip strength as a result of resistance training. They did not find any significant difference. The researchers also unfortunately did not find a significant difference in the amount of protein that older adults ingested and the preservation of fat-free mass, likely due to the small difference in protein intake among study groups. The researchers combated this obstacle by mentioning that older adults might need a minimum threshold of protein in order to raise muscle protein synthesis levels. The good observation is that the researchers found that the participants who were involved in this program showed a significant increase in physical performance during these 10 weeks. It is also worth mentioning that males have responded stronger to exercise programs regarding fat-free mass than females have. These are in line with expectations from literature. Overall, this paper gives insight into the idea that a bell-shaped curve may exist for this hypothesis, where a minimum threshold of protein ingested is needed for researchers and participants to notice fat-free mass preservation due to weight loss. These research papers relate to Dr. Ma's work about dietary nicotine intake and Parkinson's disease, and that unregulated amounts of dietary nutritional intake can lead to diseases such as obesity and Parkinson's. It is worth noting that Dr. Ma found that increased consumption of peppers correlated with decreased incidences of Parkinson's disease in women. This may be due to the fact that people that eat more peppers may be eating more vegetables in general and could be getting a more complete intake of essential nutrients compared to those that are not eating as many peppers. It is also likely that those who had decreased consumption of peppers likely turned to nutritional options that had more empty calorie balance, often found in the fast food and processed foods. So this is my analysis of 3 research papers that I found very interesting and important to investigate. So to conclude my research presentation question, does high-quality protein diet improve muscular longevity and preserve fat-free mass in older adult males? It's a pretty good question. there is more research that is needed, unfortunately. Even though I looked through these 3 articles, these articles do give a good explanation for the improvement of muscular longevity in older adult males when you include a high quality protein diet. So there is more research that is needed and more evidence that needs to come out in future papers. I hope you found this presentation interesting, and thank you for your time.